Okay, so today we are learning how to subtract fractions. Usually, you guys have seen fractions with the same denominator, such as 3/4 minus 1/4. 3 minus 1/4. So they have common denominators. And this equals 2/4. So what happens when you have two different denominators, such as 3/4 minus 1/2? This makes it a little tricky because you know that 4 minus 2 equals 2, 3 minus 1 equals 2. Well, that would equal 2/2, which would equal 1. But we know that 3/4 minus 1/2 isn't going to equal 1. So what do we need to do to figure out the answer? Well, with the rule, we need to create a common denominator so that we may subtract the fractions like we did up top. So to do that, we have to find a least common factor between the denominators. The least common factor would be 4. So since this is already 4, you take 2 times 2 to get 4. So you have 3/4 minus what we did up here. We have a common denominator, 4. So what happens to the top? Well, what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So you take 1 times 2. So that looks similar to the first equation that we've already learned. So 3 minus 2 equals 1. And then the denominator stays the same, just like we did before. And our answer would be 1/4. So let's look at a real life situation. Here's a written word question. Okay, so there's half of the pie left. Jack, Molly, and Dave want to split the leftover pie equally, so that if they each have 1/3, how much of the pie are they eating? So this question is asking if they're eating 1/3 of the half, how much of the whole pie are they eating? So we know that there's a half a pie left. And they're each going to get 1/3. So we're going to subtract 1/3. So you have 1/2 minus 1/3. Well, like we did on the other side, we have to find common denominators. And so a common denominator, the least common factor, would be 6. So 2 times 3 equals 6. What you do the bottom, you have to do the top. So 1 times 3 equals 3. Subtract. And then 3 times 2 equals 6. Now we have common denominators. Now what we have to do the bottom, remember we have to do the top. So 1 times 2 equals 2. So now we're able to subtract the fractions. So 3 minus 2 equals 1/6. So 1/6 is how much each person is getting of the pie left over. And that is how we subtract fractions.